What is up, guys? So, this video you are going to learn how we recommend you weigh your food and enter it into Chronometer. Now, instead of us spending countless hours, time, money doing that for you, it's just going to mean you get the answer later. Michelle West has done that amazingly. Had no idea who this lady was before today. She's got a great channel, great content. Highly recommend you give her a follow for nutrition and training hacks and tips, just to aid the stuff that we're giving you guys. This is a great video, and we just wanted to highlight this chapter because that then teaches you how to do that. So I'm going to press play and let her take the floor.
On the bottom of the screen, you're gonna see a giant orange circle with a plus sign. Hit that button. The main ones that you're going to look at are the apple that says add food or the scanner that says scan barcode. If you're going to scan your food, that is honestly the best way to track all the metrics because it's already in the app. Save yourself some time, scan the barcode, and then a next screen will come up of that food that you just chose. It will give you all of the macronutrient breakdowns, and the only thing that you need to add in is the amount of what you just had. So this is where the food scale.
Just want to touch on a point there. Hopefully you're eating whole foods and your foods don't have a barcode. But yes, as she said, if it does, bang that in. It's already in there. And she'll go into later that if it's a new food that it doesn't recognize, this is an American app. So some products here in Australia would not have been entered into it before. She'll show you how to do that, which we'll go into. But I just wanted to highlight that grams is the most accurate way to be consistent with your tracking. All right. It's got teaspoon, tablespoon, cups, mils, the ounces, the whole shebang. A dead giveaway that a client has got their tracking wrong is if I'm seeing some things in grams and it's a stereotypical, a generic number like 100 grams or 4 ounces. Australians don't know how much an ounce is. So that's a dead giveaway that you are not tracking the food that you are eating properly or putting in the right portion sizes. You're just pressing, yep, that's the food I ate, and then whatever it comes up with is whatever it comes up with, which can change dramatically what's actually happening to what you're ingesting in there. So grams is the most accurate way. And if you do not have food scales, which Michelle's about to go into, I highly suggest you just go and get one. I got them from like Woolies for $7. Very cheap, very convenient. You can get them in a lot of places. Very beneficial for nutritional tracking.
Comes into play. When I weigh my food out, I weigh it on the scale. I make sure that my scale is programmed to grams. And then I take that number that I just weighed and I put it into Cronometer.
Another point that I've got to bring up here is everything she's put in there is a raw food. You've got this question we get a lot. We'll see people load in like 120 grams of raw chicken breast. But then once we go through and the numbers aren't adding up after weeks and we're like, what's going on? Please show us how you're doing this. They're cooking the chicken, putting the bowl on the scales, putting the chicken in there, and it's 125 grams of chicken. And then they're loading that in as raw chicken breast. Cooked chicken breast, raw chicken breast, very different. So we got to make sure we're selecting the right foods in. I recommend doing it all beforehand in the prep work, but sometimes that just doesn't cater into people's lifestyles or what they're doing. So when you have natural foods like this, it's nice and simple. But if you are prepping and cooking items, then you have to select the right one in Chronometer, or at least make sure you're doing it the same way for each, as in weighing everything before you cook it, then cook it, or vice versa, and then inputting the correct item there. Okay? Back to Michelle.
I drop down that little box, I hit grams, and then I add that number into that square. Then I click the save, then it's added into my log. Now, as you continue to do this, it'll save the history so that you don't have to continue to add it over and over and over. It'll show up in your history, then you can just click that button, put in the number that you had that day, save, and it's added. Now I want you to hit that orange plus button again. You're gonna click add food this time. Now, this is where you want to add in food that doesn't have a barcode. Most of the time, my fruits and vegetables that are not coming in a bag or a package do not have barcodes. So this is when I just keep it super.
Just move myself over here. How rude of me. Blocking the screen for you. There we go.
Super general, and I type in the food that I ate. For example, if I had Brussels sprouts that day, most of the Brussels sprouts that I buy don't come in a bag. So I'll just say Brussels sprouts. Then Brussels sprouts will come up. Then it's going to give me a macronutrient breakdown of the Brussels sprouts. I'm going to weigh my Brussels sprouts in grams. Then I'm going to add that number, and then I'm going to press save. Now my Brussels sprouts are added to my diary log. You're going to repeat this process over and over until you get all of your food tracked for the entire day. Now you're going to start to see numbers, well, colors, I guess you could say, start to fill up the bar on where your macronutrients are falling every time that you add in a new food. Now, when I tell my clients to track, I have them track for at least 5 to 7 days so I can see a trend on what they're doing for the week. Most of the time.
This is why we do the weekly reviews with you, and you can now see the importance of one, food scales, two, making sure that you're tracking in grams for everything, purely because it's the most accurate way, unless it's a liquid, obviously. But yes, and then making sure that it is the correct food that you're doing. My example before was do not put in raw chicken breast if you're weighing your cooked chicken on there. You choose which way you're doing it, and then keep in mind that if you've used oil in a pan or thrown herb, spices, ingredients onto that chicken, that also needs to somehow accurately be placed into that cooked chicken method of displaying what you've eaten there as well. That is why we recommend the best way to do it is all the ingredients out beforehand in your prep, and then just going through adding it and eating it. And if that amount changes, then you can adjust afterwards. But in the prep work is the best way to do it. Thanks for watching.